something I find when I'm teaching is that sometimes students can be very resistant to technique changes. So if I'm teaching someone and I notice that their technique on the instrument is not ideal, it's not the most efficient, it's not the most comfortable, and it could potentially lead to some kind of injury in the future if they continue with that technique, then it's my job as a teacher to correct that technique. And so when I offer this correction and I give them the new way that I want them to be playing the instrument, the thing that they say, oh, but it was easier my way. And you can imagine that young kids, they can be very stubborn and say, but my way is easier, I'm not doing it your way. But sometimes even adults have this real resistance. They say, but my way is easier. I just can't play it your way. I can't do it your way. I'm going to do it my way. And so if this sounds like you, then the thing to remember is that the teacher is always going to be acting with your best interests at heart. And also the teacher hopefully has the knowledge and experience to see a few steps ahead of you. So they can see that if you were to persist with this technique, then you may struggle to play more difficult repertoire, you may struggle to play fast, you may even be setting yourself up for a repetitive strain injury, and that can be really devastating to musicians, these kind of injuries, because we are always using our muscles in the same repetitive manner. So the teacher is not just trying to make your life more difficult, the teacher is looking ahead and seeing that if we don't correct this technique, if we don't correct this technical issue now, it's going to get worse, and it's also going to stop you from being able to progress. So if you want to progress in your instrument, the technical issue must be corrected at some point. And it's always better to correct a technical issue as soon as it's noticed, because the longer you practice in those habits, the harder it is to change them, and the harder it will feel, the more difficult it will feel to go back to that, what feels like going back to being a total beginner on the instrument, where everything feels clumsy and uncomfortable. So the other thing that you should know is that just because you're going back to the beginning and everything's feeling clumsy and uncomfortable with the teacher's new technique, you haven't lost all the knowledge that you have learned over the time that you've been learning your instrument. All you're doing is learning a new map for your muscles, a new way for your muscles to move. All of the other knowledge, being able to read music, having a nice sound, will still be there. All of the musicality is still inside you. And so once the technical issue is resolved, what you should find is that things that felt difficult before with your old technique become much easier. Suddenly it's easy to play fast. Suddenly those difficult passages feel lighter and like you're moving quicker around the instrument. So if that sounds like you, if you feel like you've ever gone to a lesson and been offered some advice and thought, oh, but either said it out loud or just thought in your mind, but my way is easier, and been resistant to that idea of changing some kind of a habit or a technical habit on the instrument, then know that it is probably better to try and change that habit now than to realize in 6 months, 1 year, 5 years' time that this technique that you've spent a long time training into your muscles is not going to allow you to progress any further. So at some point you're going to hit a ceiling, and with that technique, either because of injury or because you just can't move fast enough around the instrument, you cannot get past that ceiling with this technique. And then in 5 years' time, imagine how much harder it's going to be to retrain those muscles. So today is the day to start retraining or working on any bad technical habits that you may know you've been avoiding changing because it feels easier your way. Everything gets easier with time. So the correct technique will feel clumsy now, but in no time, with some practice, it'll feel just as easy and probably easier than the technique that you're using right now. Hi, I'm Erica. I am a musician and music teacher, And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more practice tips, motivation and inspiration. And also share this video with any friends who are also practicing music. And finally, if you like, you can stick around for a short meditation at the end of this video to prepare you for a great day's practice. So happy practicing, and I'll see you next time. Bye. So we're going to take a few minutes to prepare for practice, to relax the body and the mind. You can take out your instrument, have any music, books, pencils ready. Then you can sit or stand with your instrument or without. And we're going to start with a soft focus in the eyes. Bring your awareness to the space you're in. Notice any sounds in the room, any smells. And then with the next exhale, closing the eyes. And we bring our awareness in to our bodies, feeling the weight of the body on the chair, or feeling the feet connected with the floor, maybe feeling the instrument in your hands, its texture under your fingers. And then bringing the awareness further in still to the breath and to the place where you feel it. Maybe the nose, the throat, the chest, the diaphragm. Feeling the rise of each inhale and the release of each exhale. And as you notice the breath, on each exhale, letting every muscle in your body release just a little bit more. Each exhale brings more relaxation to the body and more stillness to the mind. And if thoughts arise, just let them do what it is they want to do. Maybe they float by, maybe they stay. Just bringing your awareness back to the breath, back to each inhale and to the release of the exhale. Every breath relaxing the muscles in the body just a tiny bit more. And then bringing the awareness back out to the body, to the weight of the body in the chair, the feeling of your feet connected to the floor, the feeling of your instrument under your fingers. Then bringing the attention further out into the space, noticing any sounds in the room, however small they might be. And then gently blinking the eyes open, ready to start practice for the day.